Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patrons, Big Dan SRQ and Amin P. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. First up today, we have an awesome chart from Meyer. He said Tesla currently ranks #1 in the entire NASDAQ 100. This is just the 100 biggest non-financial companies on the NASDAQ. In terms of forward revenue growth comparing next year to this year, that's 39%, while also trading significantly cheaper on a forward price to earnings ratio than other companies that are growing at a similar pace. The forward PE currently sits around 35. On this chart, we have forward revenue growth on the x-axis and we have the forward PE over on the y. So on this chart, here is Tesla, and you are looking for companies that are further to the right and closer to the bottom. Further to the right means higher revenue growth expectations for next year, and closer to the bottom means a lower forward PE. So on a percentage basis, Tesla is expected to grow revenue next year at a higher clip than all of these other companies, while doing so with a current lower PE ratio than all of the dots that are above it. Of course, you can never value a company based on two metrics alone. However, based on these two metrics, the picture looks very good, and as somebody buying Tesla shares right now, you have to love to see things like this. So Meyer, if you see this, job well done with this chart. A couple of quick ones here. Elon said, "I will continue to run Twitter until it's in a strong place," which will take some time. So in case you were expecting Elon to pull back here in the next few days, I hate to burst your bubble, but it sounds like it will be at least a few months where Elon is serving as the acting CEO at Twitter, ensuring that it's on solid footing before he can pull back and pass the reins to someone else. On this one, 4 quick things. Number 1, this doesn't mean anything is going to happen imminently. Elon may not pass off the CEO reins at Tesla for another few years. 2, companies do succession planning like this regularly. However, it is news that it seems like for the first time, Elon has found somebody or identified somebody that he would be comfortable with as CEO of Tesla, again, at some point in the future. My guess is that it would be somebody from within Tesla in the culture that Elon has a good working relationship with. So Drew, Ashok, Zach, all obvious choices. And lastly, I want to say I do think overall this will be a great thing when this time comes. It'll simply allow Elon to do what he does best, that's engineer and create breakthrough technology that changes the world. That's what he wants to focus on. This will allow him to do that again when the time comes. Personally, the earliest I could see something like this happening would be maybe 2024, but again, it feels like at least a few years away. And don't forget the exchange that happened right before that testimony. Elon Musk never said to you that he might imminently be leaving Tesla, correct? James Murdoch, no. And has Elon ever suggested to anybody else that he is imminently going to quit? Murdoch, no. We know there are plenty of companies around the world courting Elon and Tesla right now. Add to the list Matteo Salvini from Italy, the Minister of Infrastructure and Transport. He said, "I would like Elon Musk to be able to work in Italy, for him to invest in Italy. We would open our doors wide for him." With all due respect to Matteo, I would say, well, get in line. Here we have some data covering the third quarter this year from the California New Car Dealers Association. In California, which serves as a bellwether for the EV movement in the United States, through the first 9 months of this year compared to the same time last year, only 2 brands in California are seeing gains, Tesla and Genesis. That means that the other 28 brands of the top selling brands in the state are all in the red year over year through the first 3 quarters of the year. Now on the right, just look at the navy blue bars for Toyota and Tesla. This is going to be the California market share across the same time frame. Toyota coming in at 17.4% of the overall new car sales market, Tesla at 10.7%. Again, this is year to date through September. Now, using that data and some others, a Reddit user put this together comparing Toyota and Tesla vehicle sales by revenue in California first 9 months of this year. Pause the screen now if you want to see the assumptions that this person used. I love this chart though because there's been so much talk lately about Tesla will never make it with only 4 models. They can't compete with other automakers that have 20, 30, 50 different models to choose from. I vehemently disagree with that thesis. I think sometimes consumers just want simple options. I think about Apple. They don't have 1,000 different options to choose from. Now, this won't be exact since we don't have the average sale prices exactly for every vehicle, but you get the picture. With just 4 vehicles in the Californian market, Tesla has more revenue generated through the first 9 months of this year than all of Toyota's brands put together. In case you're new, I spent 3 years in the fitness industry, and to this day, I still consume an absurd amount of wellness content. Right now, I'm fascinated by gut health. There are 2 YouTube channels that I trust and have learned a lot from over the years, Lex Fridman and the Institute of Human Anatomy. Both of these channels are recommending taking Athletic Greens, the sponsor of this video. I've been taking AG1 now for over a year, but just so you know, before you consider taking any product, you have to be able to verify what is actually in the product. With AG1, we know we're getting what's on the label because it's certified independently by NSF. Athletic Greens has 75 different probiotics, minerals, and vitamins in every serving. Plain and simple, without key nutrients, our bodies do not work properly. I will say, for this to have a benefit, you need to take it consistently. If you think you can undo years of malnutrition in a few days, you are misinformed. The sad truth today is even if you eat a good and balanced diet, it still may not be enough with the amount of processing that is taking place in the food industry right now. If you use my link in the description below, you can get 5 travel packs and a 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 for free with every new purchase. So if you want to do what you can to support your health, I think this is an awesome option. Sticking with data, you know, every now and then I like to zoom out and see how things are going globally for the EV market, both plug-in and full battery electric. EV sales were up 62% globally in the first half of 2022 compared to the first half of 2021. Hybrids are included in this data. Over the same time frame, the European EV market plus 9%, US and Canada plus 49%, while at the same time the overall auto market was down 17%, and the Chinese EV market still leading the way up over 100%. And globally, the share of light vehicle sales that were plug-in vehicles rose to 11.3% in the first half of this year, up from 6.3% in the first half of last year. That 11.3% is dominated by full BEVs, which had 8.2% of the overall market, meaning plug-in hybrids had 3.1% of the overall auto market. So now, on a global scale, we have crossed that all-important 10% number when we talk about new S-curve technology adoption. TSLA got into the Peterson Exhibit Museum ahead of time and posted some pictures and a video that I'll show you of some of Tesla's displays. First up, we have some close-up pictures of Optimus. Maybe it's just me, but when you see this thing up close, it kind of starts to take on a new life of its own. And it just gives me a different level of appreciation for the engineering and the planning and everything that's going into making this thing operate. And here's that video from TSLA. I will link it below. Just walking around the museum, looking at all of the Tesla exhibits, basically every product or design prototype that Tesla has all in one place. So it was kind of cool. To touch on this quickly, there was a Tesla fire on I-80 near Clearfield that took around 2 hours to put out. I'm only really sharing this because I think it's odd. I've looked around the internet and can't find any reason for a cause. Everybody just keeps saying they didn't say what started the fire in the first place. Of course, as an EV supporter, I always want to learn what causes incidents like this. In case you're new, the data says that no, EVs do not catch on fire at a higher rate than ICE counterparts. However, when they do happen, if they're not caught early, they can be harder to put out. And I just have to say, reading some of the comments on this Facebook post, as EV proponents, we still have a ton of work to do, and all of these studies and surveys of people not considering buying a Tesla, yada yada, well, you wonder why, because people are just not educated on the truth of the situation, so we all need to continue evangelizing for EVs. So here it is, VW's EV ambitions are continuing to implode. When Oliver Bloom came in for Herbert Diess, he said all of the right things. We're going to keep going full steam ahead with electrification, but a few months into his tenure, and that's not what's happening. Oliver Bloom is looking to push back VW's EV Trinity project. It was supposed to roll out in 2026. Now it's being bumped back to the end of the decade, potentially around 2030, because the new software won't be ready in time. The company may also scrap plans for a $2.1 billion EV factory in Germany. VW is currently taking the opportunity to look at all projects and investments and check them for viability. Bloom's overhaul could improve free cash flow at VW, but potentially delay electrification and crucial product launches. This right here smells a lot like padding your stats in the short term at the expense of your future business. And to everybody out there that said, building EVs is easy. If Tesla can do it, all the big guns will be able to do it, no problem. Case in point, you are all wrong. CARIAD, the software division at VW, is going to focus on developing a new software architecture for premium models like Porsche and Audi, and then it's going to push back the timeline for a scalable cross-brand platform that was meant to bolster the Trinity project. The premium software will get the top priority, and then CARIAD will get some time to figure out this cross-brand platform for the future. Earlier this month, VW delayed a planning round that was supposed to take place this month, citing changing economic realities. So the future of electric vehicles at VW seems to be in complete flux with a ton of uncertainty, and they're saying it's too early for concrete statements, talking about different projects for different brands. Here's a quick look at the prediction tracker. You guys haven't seen it for a while. We will go over this toward the end of this year, but just wanted to show you. Do you remember when Bloomberg Intelligence said that VW is going to overtake Tesla as the global EV sales leader in 2024? Because I do. Based on this news, I would honestly feel confident putting a giant W for wrong in this column already. Back to the moving target itself, Tesla, it looks like their lithium refinery negotiations are going to happen in private. This lithium refinery is expected to cost around $365 million. Construction should start next year if these negotiations go well. They're talking about tax abatements right now, and they're set to actually make a decision on that first tax abatement by December 7th this year. It's estimated this project could create around 165 high-paying jobs. The two most slept on talking points for this entire thing though, one is right here. This would be the first of its kind in North America, the first battery grade lithium hydroxide refining facility. And two, when it comes to the transportation of these materials, that's a huge contributor to CO2 emissions. So to localize this refining and production near Giga Texas, to have some here in America, is a huge deal for more reasons than one. With that in mind, we have Albemarle looking to restart a lithium mine here in the United States to create this EV battery supply chain here in the US. This new mine would be in Kings Mountain, North Carolina, but right now Albemarle has a small operation in Silver Peak, Nevada. It's the only active lithium mine in the country. This chart right here illustrates it perfectly. It's just the United States lithium trade balance over the last 4 or 5 years. Clearly, we are heavily importing lithium to the tune of millions of kilograms per year. China still has 79% of the world's lithium-ion battery manufacturing capacity, where the US has around 5.5%. Benchmark Mineral Intelligence has said having that dependence on one country, no matter what the country is, makes a lot of governments nervous. So yeah, this is a big deal. It looks like the Fisker Ocean is officially going into production today. Now, are we sure this video footage isn't pulled from the Tesla YouTube page? Obviously, I'm just kidding with that one, but we'll see how it goes. GM is holding its investor day right now as I record. I'll include a link below. I plan to listen to it later, and I'll share any takeaways in tomorrow's video. Very exciting news here as an Italian solar manufacturer is looking to set up shop here in the United States. This company, Enel, is looking to take advantage of the Inflation Reduction Act, which has really done wonders for bringing massive production back to the States. This factory in the US will make solar cells and eventually will produce 3 gigawatts and ultimately as much as 6 gigawatts of solar panels, which would make it one of the largest ventures in the country. And not only will they make the panels, but they will also be making the cells that make up the panels. To give you a frame of reference, over the past few years, the US has been adding around 20 gigawatts of solar capacity per year. Enel is considering sites across the country from the Great Lakes to Texas, and they're expected to make a decision by the end of the year, and they want to start manufacturing panels and cells by the end of 2024. Last up for today, some hawkish comments from different Fed officials. The St. Louis Fed president said rates might need to rise to the 5 to 7% range. This coming after Mary Daly said a pause in rate hikes was off the table. As I've been saying, there could be more pain ahead than most are expecting, so just do what you can to be prepared, have a cash balance, take advantage of depressed prices as that trend continues. Don't forget, check out AG1 linked below, get your freebies, do what you can to take care of yourself. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.